Happy New Year, guys, and welcome to my first FPL video of 2025. In this video, we're going to talk about my FPL Game Week 20 team selection as well as how my team fared in Game Week 19. This video is brought to you by myself, FPL Carnage, in association with GW20. So, let's look at how my team fared in Game Week 19. In Game Week 19, my team scored a total of 70 points. I had Sanchez in goal. He was unfortunate not to start the game, um, you know, going into the weekend against Ipswich Town. It was, an away game for Chelsea. Thankfully for FPL manager that had him, Chelsea didn't keep a clean sheet. They actually lost the game 2-0 to Ipswich. We heard rumors that Sanchez was benched due to the fact that he was on 4 yellow cards and they wanted to avoid him picking up a fifth yellow card to avoid, 2 game suspension. So 0 points from him as I didn't have a backup goalkeeper to come in for him. In my defense, I doubled up on the Arsenal defense and went Gabriel and Saliba. They both returned 2 points in the game against Brentford. They conceded the early goal to Brentford, which Mbeumo scored. Although, they came back to win the game 3-1. My third defender was Robinson. Robinson, a really, really impressive game against Bournemouth. Just unfortunate not to, to get knocked off the bonus points. 2-2 game against Bournemouth. Mbeumo with the goal against Arsenal came away with 7 points for me in my team. I was really confident actually going into that game because I was really, really certain that Brentford were not going to walk away from that game without like getting a goal. So Mbeumo got the goal for them. Crystal Palace, I had Ismail Assar, 2 points for him in the game against Southampton. It was really unfortunate actually because he had a really, really high XG. I think his XG was 1.02. Got a lot of chances, created a lot of chances as well. Played about 80 minutes to 85 minutes of the game. He was just unlucky not to like get something out of that game. Mohamed Salah being Mohamed Salah got a goal and 2 assists in the game against West Ham to see them through a 5-0 win. He has been on top excellent form so far this season. He was my captain, returning 32 points for me in my team. Morgan Rogers with a goal and an assist in the game against Brighton over the weekend. Unfortunately, he picked up his fifth yellow card of the season to see him suspended for the home game against Leicester City. Cole Palmer, 2 points for him in the game against Ipswich. That makes it 3 blanks in a row for Cole Palmer now. Up in attack, we have the informed striker Alexander Isak. Returned 7 points for me, making it, 6 consecutive hauls so far for him in this season. Got a 2-0 win against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Jackson was one of the other Chelsea players that was benched ahead of the game against Ipswich. He also is on 4 yellow cards. He didn't start the game. He came in 71 minutes, about, thereabouts. Played, the remaining minutes of the game, finished with 1 point, which was quite unfortunate. I felt like he could have just been rested throughout the game. There was really no point bringing him in. On my bench, I had Pedro with 9 points, Lewis Hall with 12 points, Vetman with 0 points, and Fabianski with 0 points. It was really disappointing because I was actually supposed to start Lewis Hall ahead of Saliba, but I missed the FPL deadline. Yeah, and we got some news that Jackson was going to be rested, but we weren't so sure because he had he had picked up the 4 yellow cards way before the, getting to game week 19. I think he had been moving with those 4 yellow cards since about game week 15 without picking up the fifth yellow of the season. So it just made no sense to me for them to rest him in game week 19. I mean, if he had come that far, he would be disciplined enough to see himself through game week 19, right? I could have easily started Pedro. I held Pedro in my team for about 4 weeks for him to return 9 points. The week I decided to bench him. But yeah, 70 points, a red arrow to take me from 240 to 314k overall rank. But still a lot of positives to take from game week 19. Let's just look at how my team is shaped up going into game week 20. In game week 20, I have just one free transfer to use. I have Sanchez in goal, going away to Crystal Palace. Hopefully, he returns back to the starting XI in this game. I just believe that it was due to the 4 yellow cards that he had picked up, and since he didn't play game week 19, I think he should return to the starting XI for this game. I have Gabriel going away to Brighton. We saw them, the outcome of the first game was 1-1 earlier in the season. I do think Brighton are beginning to pick up, a little rhythm in their game. We saw a really great game from them in the Aston Villa game over the weekend. It may not be an easy one for Arsenal. Saka is out. The flair and the bite in attack isn't what it usually is. But yeah, it may be a tough game for them. But Gabriel still offers a lot of routes to return. Still could be a potential clean sheet in that game for Arsenal. And then we have him attacking the set pieces from corners and free kicks. So yeah, he's going to be my first defender. Robinson at home to Ipswich has the most assists for any defender in the game currently this season. Been racking up a lot of points. He is a bonus point magnet when Fulham managed to keep a clean sheet as well. So yeah, he's going to be my second defender. My third defender at the moment is Lewis Hall going away to Tottenham. So far so good. Newcastle have scored 13 goals and conceded zero in their last 3 games or 4 games. Tottenham are a bit defensively down, and attacking wise they haven't been so great either. I think this may be a game where Newcastle, breeze past them as well, possibly with a clean sheet. Paul got a 12 pointer in the game against Manchester United, keeping clean sheet and getting the assist for the Ishak goal. So I think it's actually a really really great punt to take if you have him in your team. I'm going to be starting him ahead of Saliba this week. In my midfield, I have Umbuemo going away to Southampton. Southampton have become, a bit tougher to play against in recent weeks since their new manager, Juric came in. But I think Brentford should be able to break down the Southampton side. I do predict a Brentford win in this game. Umbuemo to potentially be on the score sheet as well. Mohamed Salah at home to Manchester United, the team that he has the best record against in the Premier League. I do get he's definitely going to return in this game. He has just been a terrific form. Manchester United haven't scored in their last 3 games in the Premier League, and they haven't scored in Anfield in about 8 games. They've scored just 1 goal in their last 8 games in Anfield. So I think this is a game where Salah just keeps that goal scoring, goal creativity form going. Cole Palmer, my third midfielder, away to Crystal Palace. It's 3 blanks for him in a row now. Crystal Palace are looking like a better side, and it's in Selhurst Park. I don't know what to expect from Palmer in this game, to be very honest. They seem to be, doubling down on him when it comes to marking right now, since he's like the only creative outlet that Chelsea have at the moment. So it's a really, really tough decision and tough match for Chelsea. But I do back him to create something. He should be able to get something out of this game for Chelsea. My fourth midfielder is going to be Ismail Assar. Would have been Rogers, but he picked up his fifth yellow card, so Ismail Assar is going to be playing at home to Chelsea. I think he should be able to exploit Chelsea's backline. They're going to be playing the likes of Sassi and Tosin down really, fast. Ismail Assar should be able to, exploit that. He had a really, really great XG in their game over the weekend. So he's going to be my fourth midfielder going into Gameweek 20. Up in attack, I have Ishak away to Tottenham. Really great record against them. Scored them home and away last season. With the defensive woes that Tottenham are currently, facing, and we also heard that there are, sickness going around in the Tottenham camp. So it may be one to watch, really. I think Newcastle will really, really breeze past Tottenham in that game. It's an early kickoff game, though, there's a lot of taboo around all early fixture costs and everything, but I don't think that will affect Newcastle. They're on really great goal scoring form at the moment. They should get the win out of that game. Jackson should return to the starting lineup against Crystal Palace. Still has the best away scoring record for Chelsea this season. So he should get something, should be able to get something out of that game. And lastly, I have Pedro at home to Arsenal. We saw him get 2 assists in Aston Villa game. I don't really know how I feel about having him going into the Arsenal game, but he did score the equalizing goal against Arsenal earlier in the season, so it just maybe one to look at. I do potentially want to move away from him to Chris Wood, but he has that game against Ipswich coming up just after the Arsenal game, so I am a bit skeptical about moving away from him just before he plays Ipswich Town. But yeah, I'll weigh, the options and the pros and the cons. But I think I would want to get Chris Wood because he's in form and Nottingham Forest are just on terrific goal scoring form, so far. On my bench, I have Saliba, Veltman, Fabianski, and Rogers as my last bench. My captain, obviously, is going to be on Mohamed Salah. Vice captain is currently on Ishak. We did hear that there may be some heavy snowfall, so the Liverpool game may be postponed. So do well to set your vice captains on your preferred player. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll do well to get back to them. This video is brought to you by myself, FPL Carnage, in association with GW20.